Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your town is already dead. The sky above Hawkins is cracked open. Ash falls like snow. People are disappearing, and somewhere inside the darkness, Vecna is still alive. But this time, the real horror isn't the monsters. It's the fact that the kids we watched grow up are finally running out of time. After years of demogorgons, mind flayers, secret labs, betrayals, sacrifices, and impossible battles, Season 5 becomes the final war between Hawkins and the Upside Down, and unlike previous seasons, this story doesn't feel like an adventure anymore. It feels like the end of the world. The season picks up after the catastrophic ending of Season 4, where Vecna successfully tears open massive gates across Hawkins. The town is destroyed, the government seals off the area, and fear spreads everywhere. Hawkins no longer looks like a normal town. It looks cursed. And the scariest part? Vecna disappears. Nobody knows where he went. Nobody knows what he's planning. But everyone can feel him watching. The entire season revolves around one terrifying idea. What if Vecna already won? According to reports and official summaries, the story is set in late 1987 and focuses on the group's final attempt to stop Vecna, while Hawkins remains trapped under military quarantine. The emotional weight of this season hits immediately because every character is broken in some way. 11 is no longer the confident superhero we once knew. She blames herself for everything. She believes Vecna exists because of her. Every death, every crack in Hawkins, every nightmare. And what makes it worse is that she's scared her powers still connect her to him. Every time she closes her eyes, she feels the Upside Down pulling her back. There are moments where she almost looks exhausted from existing. But then there's Hopper. Jim Hopper becomes the emotional backbone of the season. After surviving Russia and nearly losing 11 multiple times, Hopper finally understands something terrifying. He cannot protect her forever. And there's a heartbreaking feeling throughout the season that Hopper knows this final battle may cost him his daughter again. One of the biggest emotional threads revolves around Will Byers. For years, Will has been connected to the Upside Down, but Season 5 finally reveals the horrifying truth. Vecna never truly let Will go. Will begins sensing things before they happen. He hears whispers. He feels temperature changes. Sometimes he even sees flashes of Vecna's memories. And slowly the group realizes something devastating. Will may actually be the key to finding Vecna, but that also means Vecna can find them through Will too. This creates constant suspense because every scene with Will feels dangerous. Even simple conversations suddenly become terrifying because you never know if Vecna is listening. The show plays heavily into paranoia. Nobody trusts reality anymore. Doors move on their own. Lights flicker. People vanish. Entire streets become covered in upside-down vines overnight. And then comes one of the creepiest ideas in the season. The Upside Down is evolving. Before, it felt like another dimension. Now it feels alive. The storm spread across Hawkins like an infection. Creatures appear smarter. The vines react emotionally. The environment itself begins attacking people. It's almost as if the Upside Down is becoming one giant organism controlled by Vecna, and that makes Vecna more terrifying than ever. Because he's no longer just a villain. He's becoming a god. One of the most emotional parts of the season is the storyline involving Max Mayfield. At the end of Season 4, Max was technically alive, but mentally gone. Season 5 turns her condition into something horrifying. Her body is alive, but her mind is trapped somewhere inside Vecna's world. This leads to some of the darkest scenes in the series because 11 repeatedly tries to reach Max mentally, only to encounter terrifying visions. Sometimes Max appears normal, sometimes she looks terrified, and sometimes she's gone completely. The emotional torture here is brutal because Lucas refuses to give up on her. Lucas and Claire spends almost the entire season trying to save Max, even while the world collapses around him. And honestly, this becomes one of the strongest emotional arcs in the entire show. Because Lucas isn't fighting monsters anymore. He's fighting hopelessness. Then there's Dustin. After Eddie's death in Season 4, Dustin Henderson changes dramatically. The funny, energetic kid we knew becomes colder and more serious. Eddie's death haunts him constantly. There are scenes where Dustin blames himself for surviving, and that grief becomes fuel. Instead of running from danger, Dustin starts chasing it. He becomes obsessed with defeating Vecna no matter the cost, which creates tension between him and Steve. Steve Harrington slowly transforms into the exhausted older brother of the group. He wants everyone alive. He wants a future. He wants normal life again. But deep down, Steve also knows normal life probably ended a long time ago. And that's what makes Season 5 feel different from earlier seasons. Hope feels fragile. The show constantly reminds you that not everyone will survive this war. Official plot details confirm the season centers around the group uniting for one last fight against Vecna as Hawkins falls deeper into chaos. One of the smartest decisions in the season is how they use Hawkins itself. The town becomes almost like a haunted battlefield. Schools are abandoned, military checkpoints surround neighborhoods, families flee, churches fill with terrified people praying for survival, and the government starts treating Hawkins like ground zero for an apocalypse. That creates another layer of fear because now the group isn't just hiding from monsters. They're hiding from soldiers too, especially 11. The military believes 11 may actually be responsible for everything happening. So while she's trying to save the world, the government is hunting her down. That pressure slowly destroys her mentally. You can feel 11 reaching her emotional limit. And then the season reveals one final terrifying truth about Vecna. He was never trying to destroy Hawkins. He was preparing it for something bigger, something ancient, something even he fears. This twist completely changes the scale of the story because suddenly Vecna stops feeling like the final boss. He feels like a servant opening a door. And once that idea enters the story, the suspense becomes insane. Because now the audience realizes, what if the Upside Down has something worse than Vecna? The emotional core of the season eventually becomes friendship. Not powers, not monsters, friendship. The show constantly flashes back to old memories from Season 1, kids riding bikes, playing Dungeons and Dragons, laughing together. And those scenes hurt because you realize how much they've lost. Their childhood is gone forever. That nostalgia becomes emotional manipulation in the best possible way because the show wants viewers to feel like they're saying goodbye to their own childhood too. One major theme throughout the season is sacrifice. Everyone starts preparing themselves for death. Mike prepares speeches. Hopper records messages. Lucas stays beside Max. Steve finally admits what kind of future he wanted. And Will finally opens up emotionally after years of hiding pain inside himself. The Will storyline especially becomes devastating because the show finally lets him speak honestly about loneliness, fear, and feeling different from everyone around him. Those scenes became some of the most discussed emotional moments among fans. Then comes the final battle. And unlike earlier seasons, this battle feels massive. The sky above Hawkins literally tears apart. Creatures pour into the town. The Upside Down begins merging with reality completely, and the entire group splits into different missions at once. Some fight creatures, some search for Vecna, some protect civilians, and 11 faces the impossible choice: save her friends, or destroy Vecna forever. The suspense during these episodes works because the show keeps making you believe someone important is about to die. Every goodbye feels permanent. Every emotional speech feels dangerous. Even fans online describe the season as emotionally exhausting because of the constant tension and heavy emotional focus. One thing Season 5 does extremely well is atmosphere. The darkness feels heavier. The music feels sadder. The silence lasts longer. Even normal conversations feel uncomfortable because everyone knows the end is near. And then comes the final emotional punch. The realization that growing up means losing things you can never get back. That's really what Stranger Things has always been about underneath the monsters and sci-fi horror. It's about childhood ending. Season 1 started with kids searching for their missing friend while still believing the world made sense. Season 5 ends with those same kids realizing the world never made sense at all. And somehow, they still choose to fight for it anyway. That's what makes the ending emotional. Not just the action, not just the deaths, but the idea that these broken kids kept choosing love, loyalty, and friendship even after years of trauma. And honestly, that's why Stranger Things became more than just another Netflix show. It became a generation story. A story about fear, about growing up, about losing innocence, and about standing beside the people you love, even when the world is ending. The final season received mixed but highly emotional reactions online, with many fans praising the character moments and emotional callbacks while debating the ending and final battle. And maybe that's the most heartbreaking thing about the ending of Stranger Things. Not the monsters, not Vecna, not the Upside Down, but realizing we're saying goodbye to these characters.